Um, we're gonna go back in the reading of the keys of Enoch. Mhm. Yeah, we're gonna be reading the keys of Enoch again. This book is so deep that there's so much gems in here. Yeah, there's so much gems in this book. And I hope this day find you all well. We're living in a wonderful time. There's so many things I'm seeing happening, and I'm like, oh, please don't let us lose this energy. Please let us continue in our high vibrational energy, especially in our male. In our male, there's a divisiveness. I don't know. I'm seeing on social media platforms between foundational Black Americans, Caribbean Americans, Africans, and people on the continent. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why are we doing this? Aren't your eyes open? Aren't your eyes open? This is the same playbook they use in every generation with every race. They let those at the bottom fight while they sit and watch us. And I'm like, and I'm blaming this on the men. This one is on the men. This one is on our brothers. Please, we gotta. There's bigger things than between that we have to be fighting in our communities. We were all lied to. We all lied to. And whatever is coming is bigger than race. And if you're not vibrating high, if you want, listen, if what you want is to be ruled and is to blame everyone, if that's what you want, you'll have it. But if you want a new earth, a place of peace and love and unity and togetherness, that's what's coming. Help the hurt, help Mother Earth, vibrate high, love one another. Look at the bigger picture. You can tell this matrix is falling. You can tell that they don't have an answer. Their time is up. And that's why the feminine energy gotta rise. And feminine doesn't necessarily mean female. We all have masculine and feminine energy. This world has been in the masculine energy, and we're moving into the role of feminine energy, of love, of unity and togetherness. Not the ego has to be subdued. In the masculinity, the ego is so high. This is as a man, you have to tap into your feminine energy, and as woman, you have to welcome and receive it. That's what we are. This is a time. This masculinity and this egotistical and this logic is coming to an end. Spirituality is going to rule. Spirituality, knowledge of self, righteousness. Righteousness is understanding who you are. That's the time we're in, and it breaks my heart. And it's my first time to do a live on TikTok. I don't know, I don't think it worked. And I was tempted to put my 2 cents in. Well, maybe I'll do it one of these days. But this low vibrational energy really, really is not necessary. All right, so we're going to go back into this book. It's the Keys of Enoch. And as I mentioned before, this book entails Enoch was, as we know in the Bible, was caught up and he was shown, just like John was in Revelation, things in the heavens. And now they're trying to let us know what's to come and who we truly are. And in this reading today, we're going to realize that we are light beings. We are light beings. That's the depth of everything. We are light beings. We're not just this physical beings. We are light beings. I know you may be like, oh, deep ministry. I don't look like light in the. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Yeah. So let's see how far this will take us. I read this one night and I was in awe of who we are. This is going to describe who we are. I know you hear deep minister says, oh, you are not solid, we're vibration, we're when we talk about vibration and consciousness and frequencies, you're going to understand it more tonight by reading this. I'm very excited about. We have to understand who we are. We're such divine beings. And I keep telling everyone we're controlling our reality. We do that. We create our reality. We have the power. We have the power. And this is Enoch describe, trying to let us know who we really are, okay? So it says keys here. So this is the keys of Enoch. So that's why it mentioned keys. The key gives the explanation of the resurrection of the dead by claiming that all life is based upon a higher light code structure. All life is based upon a higher light code structure. All right. The greater intelligence by measuring the change in light, the greater intelligence by measuring the change in light emanations of the overself body knows the exact chemical firings of all corresponding life pulses which allow for the retransmission of new physical bodies based upon this archetypical code. So this is just telling us that how do they know? Oh, the Bible says he knows our thoughts before we even ask. He knows our thoughts before we even ask. And I'm trying to remember the script. those those shapes, those different shapes. They call them potomic solids and all that. Um, what's the name of those shapes? Geometry? Something geometry. Um, that's coming into my mind as I think about the light. So much shapes, and the light create those shapes, and those are um the same. If you see some ancient churches, they have those shapes inside there. They have those shapes. So this is just, I'm just trying to say, these are the shapes that the light create. And I remember I had a dream a couple months ago, and someone was showing us what we look like. And we're just circles, half white and half solid. That's what we look like. Half white and half solid. So the goal for understanding who we are, we have to get out of this physical person that we see in the mirror. So yes, so the second paragraph is saying the greater intelligence by measuring. So the greater intelligence, you could say Christ consciousness. You could call the different angels. I know Enoch called the one that showed Enoch all this is called Metatron. I forgot the one that showed John in Revelation. Who was it? Was it Gabriel? So these are just light beings, intelligent light beings that they probably create. I know a lot of people don't want to say it, but I think these greater intelligence is who created us, who's really created us. But God, the source, that's why I said God breathed inside of us. They create the physical form, but that source, that God source, is what give us life. Is what give us life. I think in those high realms, it's not anything to create. The trees is probably have their own creator. The water, the birds. These are different life forms. All life forms have different creators by higher intelligence. That's why the translation in Genesis says the Elohim, that mean many gods. These higher beings created this fleshy aspect. But then when it says God breathe inside of us, it's not physical. Don't think it's physical, but it's just telling us that God give us our divinity. God make whatever this is still come to flesh, come to form. Because even the pillows and even the inanimate objects, they all have a form of consciousness because men created these things and it gives them that energy. And it gives them that energy. All right. So the greater intelligence measuring the change in light. So based on the light we're emanating, based on the energy we're emanating, that's how they measure where we are consciously. And consciously means your awareness of yourself, your awareness of um, the world and the universe at large. So it's based on, people say energy, you know, it's based on that light form that you're emanating. You're giving off something. Don't think, oh, it's in my mind. Nobody does know. Oh, yeah, that's how you create with your thoughts in your mind. Your mind is powerful. That's how you're creating. And you're in all in your negativity and thinking bad about others and talking about others. And even not even just that aspect, and see yourself as sick, see yourself as poor. That's low energy too. Because if you have that God energy in within you, you have to see yourself as that aspect of yourself. So that's how we emanate a light. We emanate a energy. That's our overself. You hear me talking about our higher self. This physical aspect of us is just for this realm. We have a higher self. We pray to our higher self. I know people don't want to hear that. We pray to our higher self. It's your higher self that gives you that car. And your higher self knows what you need, um, knows everything about you, knows everything, that aspect of yourself. When you need it, what time you need it. Are you vibrating high enough to receive it? Are you at a level where you could ascend and receive whatever you want? That's our higher self. Our higher self is giving us everything. Okay? So it's our greatest light, greater emanations of the overself body knows the exact chemical firings of all corresponding life pulses, which allow the retransmission of new physical bodies based upon its archetypical code. And the pulse that we sent, that correspond from the higher intelligence to us is Kodowish Adonai Sebayat. It's a divine mantra, it's a divine song, it's mostly a vibration. That's why everyone says everything vibrates. It's a vibration between the realms. I was thinking in the low realms, it's more like sound, and the sound in the higher realms, it's a divine light. It's a divine light. Okay, so let's continue. In other words, at the day of graduation, and we were taught that the day of graduation is the day of judgment. We call the day of graduation the day of judgment. So, in other words, on the day of graduation or judgment, both the physical embodiment of the overself and the light body overself come together to receive codings for the next level of soul growth based upon harmony of the overself body within all of its molecular embodiments. So, the day of judgment, the day of graduation. So, the physical embodiment, this is what you see in the mirror, and your higher self and your higher self come together. So, you graduate from this world. When you leave this world, this is what we have to know, whether we're in this life or next. This is just what we have to understand, that this physical body is just, there's a higher aspect of it. And yeah, and when we come together to receive codings for the next level of soul, so you're gonna be like, deep ministry, what did you learn? What did you learn while you were on earth? I did a video once what it looks like when you're on this earth, and you go and after you leave this earth, you go back to your higher self, and you'll be like, as soon as the breath left your body, you're gonna be like, darn, I can't believe I only believe that this body is the only aspect of me that existed. I totally ignored my higher self while on earth. That's what a lot of us gonna say. They tell us to pray to Jesus and all that. It's your higher self, because your higher self, it's growth. It's everything is growth. What everything you see on this earth is a microcosm of the macrocosm. It was just like when we're in school, we have to keep ascending. If you are God's, you continually expand, you continually create. You have to continually create and become ascended. You see what is called? They're called ascended master, where you probably create your own universe. There's no death. We're not. We only born. There's no death, and that we're so scared of, that we were taught to be scared of. There's none. Yeah, and so you come together and determine what you're gonna do. What's the next step for your soul? What's the next step for your soul? Yeah, what's the next step? What's next? What's next? The higher evolutions uses what is called in their mathematics the omega minus function, which establishes that every thought form are of a corresponding geometry of motion. Every thought forms. Oh my God, I'm trying to remember. Um, Sacred geometry. That's what they call sacred geometry. Every thought form, your thoughts are consciousness. Your thoughts are conscious. They create. They create. So the higher evolution uses what is called in their mathematics the omega minus function. This is how they use it, which establish that every thought form has a corresponding geometry, motion. So it reminds me of the stars that we see twinkling up there. Every thought form, every your thoughts are alive. So make sure you're only thinking good thoughts, not thoughts that can create havoc in your life. We must understand that every molecular form in the human body and every molecular form in motion structuring human thought throws off a radiation of light. This light code structure does not dissipate, but continues to stored in the form of unique light spectrum, which gives the overall harmony of the light as it pulsated to be in the restoration of life itself. Yeah. That's on here, just tell me. So this is saying every molecular form of motion structure human thought forms throws off a radiation of light. Everything gives a radiation of light. And this light, it doesn't dissipate, it doesn't go away, but it continues to be stored in the form of a unique light spectrum, which gives the overall harmony of the light as it pulsated to be in the restoration of life itself, in the reprogramming of itself, in the reassembly of its meta material information. And meta means mind. Meta means mind. So it's the same thing we talk about, that we shouldn't, these thought forms um, are waiting. They, as we create these thoughts, they're waiting to be balanced. As I did a video 2 years ago, they're waiting to be balanced. What does that mean? So if you create a thought form, oh my gosh, I'm scared I'm gonna be in an accident. That thought form is out there doing what it does to come in to manifest in the physical. And if that thought form is not balanced with, oh no, I'm healthy, I'm not gonna be in an accident, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna come back safe. If that thought form is not balanced, it manifests in your life as an accident. For every cause, there's an effect. Why were you in an accident? because you somehow 2 or 3 years ago, or maybe a year ago, I'm not sure the time frame it takes to manifest, you thought you were in an accident. Everything happens in our lives, it's a cause. But we were taught, oh no, to blame others, not to look at ourselves. Why is this happening? What do I need to learn from this that's happening in my life? For those who do not have an over self coordinated body of light, and this is what got to me, that not everybody have an over self. I know a lot of people used to be like, some people doesn't have a soul. Some people doesn't have a soul. That means they don't have a connection to the source. They don't have a connection to the source. Some people call them NPCs, that they were created probably through cloning. This is the only way I'm thinking. These are the people who were cloned, and they do not have a soul. They were cloned. Yeah, they don't have a soul. But there's hope for them too. So those who doesn't have an over self coordinating body of light, Metatron explained to me that there's a light grid within the body which registers all units of biological electrical radiations of low frequency field levels. Just as a voice structure or voice profile can be used to identify an image body of consciousness, so also the combination of thought waves with color can be used to identify the vibratory waves of Gematrian thought. So those who does not have an overself, um, there's a light grid within the body which register all units of a biological grid electrical radiation of low frequency field. So not because you don't have a soul. And I think I heard Pete Sapper says, if you don't have a soul, you can get a soul. So you could get a soul. So they don't have the over self and the higher self to measure their light frequency. But within them and all of us, they are electrical grids, electrical radiation that measures their frequency too. So maybe they can evolve into having a soul. I wonder how you know if you have a soul or you don't. Mm. But there's a way for them to get a soul. They have to evolve. Thus, every molecule within the body continually projects light pulses which build up a light code structure which is beyond the physical relativity. The code structure is used to reshape the next program of consciousness evolution. And I love this. So while we're having this experience on Earth, it's like there's a computer watching our behavior. There's something like a recording is sent to a central computer, and and based on what we do here, based on our experience, what if we're not raising our consciousness and vibration in this in this experience, it's like it's gonna be used to create the new world that's coming in based on what we do here. Why weren't these why weren't they able to raise their consciousness? Why were they so divided? What happened? What happened? Why they could? The biggest thing. What happened? Why we couldn't understand that we are not just this body? Why? Because it doesn't matter what. This is just saying. It doesn't matter what you believe or not. The our molecular structure, our DNA, our cells is giving off a frequency that's recorded, so the next generation can evolve better than we do. And if you're reading this, you're thinking, I wonder if there's gonna be another um wonder if there's gonna be another 3D, because this 3D is bad. We can't even understand that we're not just this body, where there's a divine, we're gods, we're creating our own universe. So every biochemical molecule must radiate and pulsate again and again, as a body of flesh is pulsated into new envelopes of light. So this is just telling you how things are created. So the biochemical molecule that we are made up of must radiate and pulsate again and again, as the body of flesh is pulsated into new envelopes of light. You see, this is nothing physical. When the Bible said we are beautifully and wonderfully made, everything in our body, it's doing what it means to do, what it was created to do. You know, um, our body, our cells, and all these molecular structures probably looking at us as gods, just like how we look. People are looking outside of us for people greater than us, as like Jesus, as gods, because they're looking to us for direction. And if you're looking to somebody else, and your cells and your DNA is looking to you to renew your mind and understand the role that you play. Whatever you want, you should put it in your mind and your thought. But we are so caught up into worrying about other people's opinion. We're worried about other people's opinion big time. And we're not doing what we came here to do. Our envelope of light is programs. Our envelope of light programs all of the light forces for the human DNA, RNA. However, each envelope of light is equipped with the energy necessary to progress into other cycles of creation. Yeah, it's in our DNA. Our light envelope is shaped by the world of negative mass and is a unique envelope for a given electromagnetic spectrum. And it's calling this body, this light envelope, this flesh. This is the light envelope. That's what we are. That's what we're seeing. Each envelope of light is equipped with the energy necessary to progress into other cycles of creation. Our light envelope is shaped by the world of negative, yeah. And let me not say the flesh, because I teach about the electromagnetic field around us, around this flesh. That's what controls everything. That's the envelope, the invisible electromagnetic field around us. and it's influenced by the negative things that happens around us. And it has it's a electromagnetic field. It has the energy necessary to progress into other cycles of creation, to for you to ascend. It has enough energy in here for you to ascend. Our light envelopes is shaped by the world of negative mass. Negative mass. So if you're Joe Dispenza talk about we should be more waves, we should be expanding. A negative mass is when that electromagnetic field is shrinking. You can't evolve if your field is shrinking around you. You're supposed to expand. As I mentioned earlier, we're creators. So we're supposed to always creating, we're supposed to expanding. You're shrinking because the ego is in control. You're shrinking because you don't understand who we are. You're shrinking because you're dependent on everything outside of yourself to help you. That's why you're shrinking. So, all right. So our envelope is shaped by the world of negative mass and is a unique envelope for a given electromagnetic spectrum. And this light that we talk about, it's electromagnetic. That's the base form. There's others, I hear people talking about dielectric, but if we listen to what the Christ letters, it's all electricity and magnetism. This is what that light we're talking about. We are formed out of thoughts which feel the weight of space and time into which being is cast. These thoughts give you your own unique space and time in the drama of incarnation. So when we hear about in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. So we are formed out of thoughts which feel the weight of space and time. We feel that weight of space and time is not how linear as we see it here. The time goes around and around in circles, into which feel the weight of space and time, into which being is cast. So we are cast into space and time. And these thoughts give you your own unique space and time in the drama of incarnation. Your own unique space and time. And some people don't believe in incarnation. We're probably doing this a long time. That we can learn. I don't know if it's really to learn or it was planned or whatever. But until you come into the knowledge of self, it seems as if you're in this endless cycle. Yeah. So these thought forms give you your own universe, basically what it's saying. You are the master of your own universe. You are the creator of your own universe. You are the God of your own universe. But we weren't taught that. We taught everyone, oh, it's what your husband influence your universe, the government influence your universe. We allow that. We allow. Don't, just think good thoughts in your universe. Just high energy, high vibration. That's your universe. This body is your own universe or a unique thought form. Beloved, we should recognize that there are three types of evolution that can be coded out of the activity of the living light during the transition of the physical form. Okay, so there are three types of evolution that we can grow, that can be coded out of the activity of the living light during the transition of the physical form. These three types are physical man, the physical man, which can be coded from the meta functions of his existence purely into another physical man on the same scale of meta matter, positive incarnation. And two, physical man possessing the light grid of an evolving soul, which can be coded from the light of the living into a more advanced spiritual physical embodiment within the lower heavens. Such a man is a light blueprint of a given creator God's image and similitude. And three, spiritual physical man possessing a complete unity with the spiritual Shekinah extended out of the life of the living, which is capable of direct resurrection into the Adam Kadmon archetypical body of light. He has, by virtue of completing his spiritual assignment, the pre prerogative to participate in the higher heavens, which work directly with the Father's image and similitude. So these are the three, let's look at them closely. The three kind of man that can evolve out of this physical body of light. We have the physical man, which can be coded from the meta functions of his existence purely into another physical man on the same scale of meta matter. So we have us, and that's the physical man. And then so I see the first one, the physical man, that can be coded from meta functions of his existence purely into another physical man. Same scale of meta matter, positive incarnation. So the meta man is on understanding that there is the mind. It's not the physical man, it's the mind. The mind start changing, start taking control, understanding of who you are. You're still in this physical body, but you're understanding the role that the mind plays. That's the meta man. The meta functions of his existence purely into another physical man on the same scale of meta matter. So this other aspect of us, we can only evolve in three aspects. The first one is by understanding the role the mind plays in our existence. The role the mind plays, our thoughts, and our sometimes we have to, is our thoughts ours, or what are those? They have a mind. I can hear them sometimes. It's based on our past. Someone says it's even based on our evolution, our incarnation. That's what we get. That's what's in our mind all the time. Is it ours? I don't think it's ours. It just shows up when it just keeps showing up. So we can evolve from just accepting these thoughts, and look at the thoughts sometimes. Understand the role the mind, everything, all these thought forms of consciousness, they have energy, so they create. So be careful. So we can evolve into this mind person where you understand the role of the thoughts, the role of your mind, the mind play in. Listen, if you don't believe it, if your feet hurt you, don't think it's a it's something bad. Think it's always something good. So you can evolve into that aspect of man. Another aspect of man is physical man possessing the light grid of an evolving soul, which can be coded from the life of the living into a more advanced spiritual physical embodiment within the lower heavens. Such a man is a blight blueprint of a given creator's God image and similitude. So that's another aspect, another embodiment of the physical man. This is um, physical man possessing the light grid of an evolving soul, which can. This is when the soul is evolving. You're drawing closer and closer to your higher self, to who you truly are. Nothing in this world um, can you understand what's going on in this world. You understand the matrix, and you're seeing that a lot. You're seeing people embodying spirituality, their understanding of who they are. That's what this is about. This is the other evolve. That's how we evolve from mental to spiritual, from mental to spiritual. Where are you? Where are you? And look at this. I like this. Such a man is a light blueprint of a given creator's God image and similitude. Wow. Wow. And three, spiritual physical man possessing a complete unity. Oh my gosh. This is what, when I read Solomon, that marriage taking place between your higher self and your lower self. I have another book that tells you what happened when you can fully embody your higher self when you're on this earth. You don't have to wait to go to heaven. Embody that Shekinah glory that we sing about in church. We have the potential to do this. That's the Adam Cadmon's body according to the keys of Enoch. And that's when you become one with your higher self. That's how Christ was. That's when you fully embodied the Christ consciousness, your higher self. So it's like you're walking on earth with God, like as a God. So this is that part. So we have to evolve from just to mental man, to spiritual man, and to Shekinah man. It's like when you're like Christ walking on earth. This flesh has no power over you. Whatever you want, you have. You don't. It's that's the three ways men can evolve. He has, by virtue, completing his spiritual assignment. And when you get there, you complete your spiritual assignment. The prerogative to participate in the higher heavens, which work directly with the Father's image and similitude. I know I skipped that, but I want to read that. So therefore, the higher evolution, by matching the light codes with physical codes, control the sphere of activity of a biological species within within given spectrum amplifications. The spectrum amplifications allow the light envelope to make other adaptations, recode the human genetic code into a new phase of light intelligence. So let me read this again. Therefore, the higher evolution, by matching the light codes with the physical codes, control the sphere of activity of a biological species within given spectrum of amplifications. The spectrum's amplifications allow the light envelope to have other adaptations to recode the human genetic code into a new phase of life intelligence. So as you evolve, the light envelope, which I tell you it's the electromagnetic field, it gets stronger and powerful, and it can code our genetic codes, make adaptation to our genetic code. Because I remember someone is said that um we have two strands, but we're supposed to have 14 strands of DNA. So this ascension is taking place. This is what's taking place. Man is evolving. Well, if you're not evolving, that's up to you. Man is evolving. Our genetic code is going to be increased. Um, our electromagnetic field is going to be increased. We're going to be more to heal ourselves. The end of doctors. We're going to be able to create. The end of jobs. Our children going to teach themselves. No more schools. This is where the new earth. This is what it's telling us. This is what the new earth is going to look like. If you like this earth, you could keep it. You could continue in it if you like it. So, yeah. So the spectrum amplifications allow the light envelopes to make other adaptations to recode the human genetic code into a new phase of life intelligence. Spiritual mankind is removed from common life codes by the higher evolution, which uses the father's Nar Tumid to call forth humanity in a state of resurrection. Oh my gosh, I forgot the meaning of this word. Let me see if I can find it. I didn't bring the book. So yeah, we're on that spiritual evolution. Um, oh my gosh, what's the I'm gonna go find that word. Not too much. Some point. Not too mid, not too mid. Okay, here it is. Eternal light. The Nightumid is eternal light, the Father's continuum of light, out of which special throne and dominion regions of the spiritual and physical universe created. So that's what Nartumid means. So when these upgrade takes place, spiritual mankind is removed from the coin. That means the common life codes by the higher evolutions, which uses the Father's Nartumid to call forth humanity into a state of resurrection. So this is what's happening now, people. This is what's happening now. This is what the higher evolutions is using the source light, um, the eternal light, the Father's continuum of light, out of which special dominions and thrones, region of the spiritual and feeling lights are created. So, out of which the Christletters call it universal dimension. Universal dimensions. So the light codes are flooding our dimensions, flooding our dimensions. These light codes, I know we can't see it. We can't even see the electromagnetic spectrum around us. So these light codes, we can't see them, but they're out there, flooding this earth. So we can, our vibration can increase, so we can evolve, our DNA can be upgraded. This is the time we're in. Okay? We're evolving. We're evolving. It's time for upgrade. Those who have radiated love into the light of the living, into the greater universe, will continue to live off the power of the image of the luminaries, because they have learned to share the pulsation of love within continuity. Those who do not pulsate love into the greater image, which establishes continuity and change within continuum, deny the redemptive light and the order of possession which exists in myriads of thresholds, connecting to the love of the living with life beyond the measure of the flesh. Those who deny the light will return to their consciousness beginning in the form of flesh or even lower forms of meta matter. I like the word meta matter. Lower forms of meta matter. You have denied the light. You have denied. Um. You haven't spread love. The light will turn to. They're gonna return to their flesh. You're not gonna get any upgrade. And there's a hand behind this, just pulling on people's thoughts, just pulling on people's emotions, the divisiveness, so people can miss their blessing. We have no one to blame if we allow people to constantly pull on us like a puppet on strings. We are divine beings. We have to love one another. I don't care where you're from. We have to love one another. In the end, that's what matters. So those who do not pulsate love into the greater image, which establishes continuity. So when it says pulsate love, remember we talked about there's a mantra, there's a divine mantra, there's a vibration. When you're pulsating love, when you're sharing love, when you're loving one another, it goes to the Father's throne. From you to the Father's throne. That's how you receive your blessing. And so if you're not pulsating love into the greater image, which establish continuity, that universal consciousness which um established continuity and change within continuum, and you deny the redemptive light and the order of progression which exists in myriads of thresholds. So not just us, myriads of dimensions. connecting the love of the living with life beyond the measure of the flesh. If you still see yourself as only this flesh, if you still see yourself as, oh, I'm this flesh, I'm whatever, I have to beautify this flesh. Where's your spirituality? And these are the things why, if you are still doing that, I can just feel some people not gonna grow financially, emotionally. You have to have that divine light. And that light is what keeps us healthy. That's another thing. If you're not getting that divine light, that divine pulsating, um, coming from the throne, you might use the church term instead of universal consciousness, coming from the throne of heaven into you. Your organs need it, your cells need it. Your molecules, your blood need this connection. Please don't disconnect yourself from the universal consciousness, from the throne of heaven, as the church call it. We connect. Get out of the self. Get out, because there's a time coming that's going to be the great divide. We have to get beyond flesh. It is flesh is just temporary. We have to understand the light beings that we are. We're not here to vote. We're not here to spread division. We're not here to spread hate. We're here to love others, to see everyone as gods, as the gods they are, and in turn vibrate that love to the universal consciousness, which in turn will send us light giving codes to, so at a time as this, our DNA will evolve. Our DNA is gonna be upgraded. We're gonna receive that divine consciousness. The light is coming in. The light is coming in. I know you can't see, but you must feel it. You have to feel it. Okay. Those who deny the light will return to their consciousness beginning in the form of flesh, or even lower forms of metamatter. For the flesh is not able to be transformed into the light of the living. If you keep denying, how can you be lower than flesh? Are you going to be trees, or the animals, or the water? If you can't get out of your way, if you can't get out of flesh, understanding that you're a divine being, if you can't be transformed, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. If you remain in flesh, you're gonna be even lower than flesh, if you can't receive the light. Mm. Or even lower forms of metamatter, for the flesh is not able to be transformed into the light of the living. You know? So, in other words, at the end of an evolutionary program, and that's where we're at. People call it the end times. People call it's not the end of the earth. It's the end of this programming. It's the end of this evolutionary program, as the keys of Enoch calls it. At the end of an evolutionary program, if the genetic code of an individual soul is not deemed worthy for the next step function of species regeneration into the light, the soul is placed one of several biological step functions back, where it must learn through its negative karma how to harmonize the light of love. This is the time we're in. So at the end of this program, the Bible call it the end of the world, the end of time. It's just the end of this programming. It's the end of this masculine programming. That's how I call it. It's the end of it. All these men, what they're doing and they're creating, they know it's the rise of the feminine energy. And it doesn't mean it's the woman. The woman, yes, have more feminine energy, are probably 50-50. But that aspect of us has totally been ignored. The masculinity has been ruling, the ego has been ruling. So this programming is over. This programming is over. I think the right hand is, I think it tells us that the right hand, wherever mentioned in the Bible, that the right hand is the end of this programming, the end of the programming. That's where we're at. So if you can't evolve out of this program, if you're still holding on to this programming, and this is what I was on, and maybe I should stop going on these platforms, the division still, we're still divided. Still divided. We still worry about what going on in politics. We're still hustling and bustling. We're still. How are you evolved? This is a question everyone has to ask themselves. How are you evolved into the light of your soul evolve? And evolve meaning you can see this world for what it is. You understand who you are. You create your reality. No one's coming, no one outside of you affects you. No one's coming to help you. You have the power within to do everything. You have to evolve. And this is going to be the separation. We're not going to be those who have evolved and those who are not evolved. We're going to live together. We're going to live together. And remember, you do not die. So right now you're told if you're not evolving, you're totally neglecting your soul, and it's talking to you. You're talking to you. Get out of this world. Get out of the um another thing, sexuality and who's cheating on who. Come on, self love. Stop. Come on, we got to do with self love. In other words, at the end of an evolutionary program, and this is it, I'm going to read this again. If the genetic code of an individual soul is not deemed worthy for the next step function of species regeneration into the light, the soul is placed one of several biological step functions back. Soul is placed on several biological step functions back, where it must learn through its negative karma how to harmonize with the light of love. Thus, we are told the omega minus function gives forth a new beginning, a new alpha and omega of new stage of life in the house of many mansions. Yet, in order to reassemble a greater life structure, there has to exist a greater body of light consciousness, intelligence, which is a part of the life of the living. So, this is what I like. So, in order to reassemble a greater life structure, there has to exist a greater body of light consciousness, intelligence, which is a part of the life of the living. So, because if you're evolving, you're getting a new body, not a new body, an upgraded body. Your DNA is being upgraded, and all of that for the new Earth, for the new program that's coming in, and you have to feel it. The headaches, um, palpitations, eye aches, ringing at the ear. Your DNA is upgrading for what's coming for the new Earth because you're evolving as a species. In essence, you exist in consciousness death until you are aware of the power of love, which opens up the visual pathway of ascension into indescribable levels of light essence. Every action in life is part of the matter energy centrifuge, which builds up the consciousness energy units to be sufficiently strong enough to resurrect the dust of life into new wave forms of light. All right? Wave, not particles. And you have a lot, I don't want to call them gurus, um, that's out there talking about particles and waves and all that. So you exist in consciousness death until you are aware of the power of love, which opens up the visual pathway of ascension into indescribable levels of light essence. Every action in life is part of the matter energy centrifuge, which builds up your consciousness energy units to be sufficiently strong enough to resurrect the dust of life into new wave factors of light. So, a denial of this energy centrifuge means that the vortex, spiral, and reticulated spiral of the epikinetic units remain without the spiritual light coding. Therefore, the light of the unrealized self simply dissipates into particles of light. I just tell you, we can't be particles, and your particles when your electromagnetic field is shrinking because you don't have a lot of love. You're still in consciousness death, basically. Your ego is in control. You're all up in this world. This is consciousness death. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, what's his name? That talk about wave and particles. Pete, not Pete Supper. No, it's Dr. Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza talk about try look go look wave and particles. We shouldn't be particles. We should be waves. So particles is when light collapse. When this light collapse, it becomes particles, and waves is when it expands. And that's when, and we want to be more wave than particles. Okay. Therefore, the light of the unrealized self simply dissipates. It's dissipating light. Remember, we started out by talking that we are light, dissipates into particles of light, charges with which degenerate and become the basic energy combinations which are used to evolve new beginnings. So the unused light consciousness is often given to a crippled person or a fatherless child in some other life frame who will use this energy wisely. Oh, wow. I didn't know this. And I think I don't remember who said the best thing as a crippled soul, if you come here and you decide you're going to have this experience as a crippled soul, you're going to evolve, right? You're going to evolve. Your soul is going to evolve so much when you leave the earth. So don't feel for anyone who you see in a wheelchair. Because remember, everything, even another person too, those homeless people, that's what they wanted. Everything our true self is centered around the evolvement of our soul. Our soul has to evolve. And it seems as if when we choose our life, we weren't thinking about who we're gonna marry, who were the children we were gonna have, who where we're gonna work and all that. We weren't thinking about that. We were thinking, how what can our experience be on earth? So when our experience is over, our soul will be evolved. And some of us are here just to help the earth evolve. So, whatever you're going through, don't see it as, I know it's hard to say because I was just telling my sister a couple weeks ago, listen, why did I pick this? I picked the hardest life, and maybe I did it so I can evolve. This life we're going through, we pick it, we choose this life. Okay? So, okay, what next? What time is it? Okay. So, drawing unconsciousness light, you create your own gematria body of light to connect with the wave function of the Zohar light, which allows your outer garment to survive this life and death cycle of physical creation. Let me see what the gematria body. I know what the Zohar body is. Um, so the gematria body is probably a physical. The gematria body is the vehicle of light synthesis in the body formed by the Shekinah light force, which controls all the inner relationship of light. This body prepares the human vehicle in the connected with the Christ body over self. My vehicle in the connected with the Christ body over self. On the physical plane, it can control the ratio between the plasmic state of living things and the atomic molecular matter. The gematria used in consciousness creation, inspiration, healing, etc., which can mathematically arrange each of the energy meridians of the human system to make them available to guide and energize the body. The gematria body with the Shekinah bears witness that bear witness we are active people of God, John 14, verse 26, and actively dwelling in the body of light within the body of flesh. As a vehicle for the saints, John 14, verse 17, the gematria body frees creative life form, creative life from slavery. Okay. So the gematria body could, as a spiritual body, the inner part of the body as Daniel 10, verse 6, in the work of the Lord. Ah, can manifest great power. Yeah. So the gematria body and the Zohar body. The Zohar body. Now, if you never known that, if you think if we, that we are physical, no, this is it. This is body. You must be like, what is this lady talking about? About gematria body and Zohar body, the body vehicle of the outer light that permits the body to go beyond the light cone of immediate relativity. The body places a bond of light around the outer around the four other energy vehicles of incarnation so that the physical body can distinguish between the sacred space of light and the profane space of light. The coat of many colors, oh, really? Which is the foundation for the energy form which corresponds with the brilliant and splendid structure of the heavenly Jerusalem. Through the Zohar body, the 72 areas of the mind are balanced off, and the microcosmos of unconscious man ascends to sonship and a place of dwelling within the Father's throne. And that can be found in Revelation 7 9 to 16. So wow, so the Zohar body is the light body that can be used to transfer to different dimensions. And you could read Revelation 7. Let me read the Revelation 7 9 to 6. Well, that's too long. I don't want to read. But Revelation 7 9 to 16. That's seven verses. I don't really want to read that now. Okay, so what is saying? Drawing on consciousness light, you create your own gematria body of light to connect with the wave function of the Zohar light, which allows your outer garment to survive this life and death cycle of physical creation. Whoever does not seek the light will remain an open vessel for the masters of the angelic fall who require the collective energies of evolving species form. And this is something that we're not aware of. That there are fallen people around us, and we think they look like us. Um, we think our friends and the people we go to church with and our families are our enemies. You know, there's species here that depends on our energy, that depends on our ignorance, that depends on we not knowing who we are. They love that. And we put them in power. We put them in power, you know. So we have to evolve. This is the time. Understand who you are. Understand the divine light that goes through every aspect of your being. Understand that you are the creator of your own universe. Nothing outside will ever help you. We have to evolve our thinking and thinking that we're just this body. It's not. This body doesn't even look like the way it is. We're light beings. We are light beings. Okay. Whosoever does not seek the light will remain. And the Bible talk about, I am the light of the world. It's telling us light. We're light beings, you know? But we see everything as Jesus and Jesus and Jesus. You know, you are Jesus. So that's what his ministry is about. You are him. I am you. You are him. Do I tell you the kingdom of God is within? He said, greater things than he does, you will do. People been on this earth, probably even in your families, come from the same realm or even higher than the realm that Jesus came from. And you'll be the first one to oh, don't talk about my dead grandmother and whatever. You know what you're doing when you say that? Hmm? Those are the people still guiding you because they don't die. They're energy beings. They want us to evolve. Everybody's cheering for us. If they haven't reincarnated yet, please look at your ancestors. Don't have this world thinking, oh, they're dead and they should be scared of them. Yeah. That's why you never hear what they're telling you. That's why we're in sickness and poverty because the people who can help us, they tell us to be scared of them, and the one who's trying to hurt us, they tell us to love them. Wake up, wake up. Most of the things I know, I just feel, especially my great grandmother, who I've never known. I just know she just leads me to some places that I'm like, oh my God, ask question. As Doris Cannon says, it's always yes. Prove, trust the universe. I see some young people saying, I tell the universe to send you, show me yourself, universe, by sending me $4. Stuff like that. It's always yes. We're here, we're forgot, but we are not alone. We have our higher self. We have guides. We even have Jesus. You could ask Jesus to direct you, not to serve him, not to, no. He's your brother. Ask him for direction. Christ, help me, so and so. He will come. Not to beg him for something and no, show me how to do this. So teach me, guide me into this. Because everyone is helping us. The universe is helping us. Listen, our eyes don't depend on your eyes. That's why the Bible said we have eyes but we do not see. We have ears we do not hear. Because we can't, if you don't meditate, if you don't sit down and be quiet your mind, and so you can see the spiritual realm, so you can hear directions. Sit down, take a break from the phone and the TV and listen. Quiet your mind, listen to yourself, breathe a little, and the universe will open to you. Your ancestors. If you're scared, don't say ancestors then. Say I yourself. You're probably scared. Oh no, we're energy beings, we're light beings. We do not die. When you leave this earth, you're gonna want to protect because it seems like there's a bloodline that we all come true. You are your ancestors. And if they make a mistake, they're waiting on the next generation to help them probably ascend. They want that line. I do believe that some if we reincarnate, sometimes I can reincarnate as my child's mother. We play different roles. We play different roles. Understand who you are. We are. Don't be scared. There's nothing to fear. Fear is not of God. It's all love. It's all love. Nothing else than love. Nothing, nothing. Believe you don't believe anything. If someone tell you that God is a God of wrath, it's a lie. It's a lie. It's all love. All love. Nothing else but love. Everything is other than this world. Even this world is because this world is a world of perception. Nothing is really what it looks like because our eyes only see what. I'm going to be generous by saying 50% of what the thing really looks like. Yeah. So understand who you are. You have to seek the light. You are a light being. So whoever does not seek the light will remain an open vessels for the masters of the angelic fall who require the collective energies of evolving species formed. They want your energy. And when you're divide, when you're hating, that's what you're doing. You're giving them your energy, and in giving them your energy, you're letting this world in this low vibration, so this earth can continue with the struggles and diseases. Look at the bigger picture sometimes. When you give other people your energy and being divisive and being hateful, um, you're not just affecting yourself, your children, your community, then the world at large. Then we have to continue in this masculine, um, this masculinity, this lack, this job, this marriages broken, our children dying. That's what Michael Jackson says. Look at the man in the mirror. We play a part in the way our community goes. We play a part. In aeons previous to this age, the fallen masters and princes of light did not wish to acknowledge the sovereign grace of the Adman Kadmon in our Father universe. Therefore, they conspired to separate the divine image from the similitude of divine light invisibles. So the Adam Kadmon's body is when this physical body becomes one with your higher self. So it's like Christ. It's like Christ. When Christ was on earth, he has knowledge of his higher self. This world didn't have any effect on him, and he didn't born that way. Let's get that out of the way. Jesus, as you call him, and his name wasn't Jesus, but names doesn't matter. That's our problem. When Jesus was on earth, he didn't born as a God. He was just like us, and he become enlightened after the baptism. After John's baptism, he became enlightened. He was just a troublemaker as our sons and our daughters and as we were. But he got knowledge of self after his baptism, just like the Bible says. He went into the desert and he was shown who we really are. And he was so happy. Read the Christ letters if you're wondering where I get this from. He was so happy when he was shown this knowledge. Because when you're shown this knowledge, you can't be the same. He was like, oh my God, my people are so poor and they're gods. Just by believing, just by the renewing their mind, just by their belief. That's what Jesus was saying. Just by their belief, they could have anything that they want. That's Christ's entire ministry. But the church wouldn't want that because it gets rid of the what they called them back then, the priest, was it priest? It gets rid of them. He teaching people to be self-sufficient, telling people they have the power to heal themselves. You notice when he heals anyone, he didn't take the credit because he knows it's the power within him, within them that heals them. He knows that. That's why he said, your faith have made thee whole. Your faith have made thee whole. That's what he was saying. In Aeon's yeah, that's what Christ was saying. And that's why when he said, another one is too, when Peter, when Peter said, oh, you're the Christ. He's like, flesh and blood couldn't tell you that. It's the God within you that tells you that. It's your higher self that tell you that. Yeah, that's what it was. So, in aeons previous to this age, the fallen masters and princesses of light did not wish to acknowledge the sovereign grace of the Adam Kadmon in our Father universe. Therefore, they conspired to separate the divine image from the similitude of divine light, invisible. So, that's how the separation happened. This is what happened. They took us from our divinity. Oh wow. So maybe before so we devolved into the state. We were never separated from our higher selves. Oh, so that's what happens. So that's what happens. This took place while the Adam Kadmon was within the midst of the many galactic trees of our Father universe. Ah, listen, see what happens? So this took place while the Adam Kadmon was within the midst of the many galactic trees of our Father universe. There, the angels and archangels of the fall sought to limit the immeasurable greatness that would share their power in using the creative light stream to move regions of chaos into regions of new creation. And here's the tree again. I know someone on YouTube talk about how the trees play. Um, So the fall of the Adam Kadmon. So we were Adam Kadmon. We were with our higher self. We were never separated as we are now. The and it says it took place while the Adam Kadmon was in the midst of the many galactic trees. This is something galactic trees of our Father's universe. There. Oh, so the Adam and Eve story is a separation. The Adam and Eve story is really a separation of our divine self and our physical self. So that's why the Adam, it's a separation. Mm. So Eve is really the spiritual aspect of, oh my gosh. So Eve is really the spiritual aspect of Adam. That's a separation. So that's why they said Adam children, Adam's fallen race. So it's Eve represents um the divinity. Eve represents the higher self. Eve represents the higher self. But I think in other literature, they said Eve was taken out of Adam's ribs. Out of Adam ribs. But in other literature, they couldn't find them. They couldn't find her. It's a spiritual aspect of self. Okay, it's a spiritual aspect of self. So Eve is the higher self. We were together. We were together. And you can see how it's the atom too, because the splitting of the atom causes um that's how we were separated because the Eve gene was Adam was sent here and Eve our higher self, even though it's here, but it's not really there. So our Eve self is really our God self, the Eve self, that feminine energy. And we're talking about the rise of the feminine energy, the Eve self, the feminine energy is the God self. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The feminine energy is the God aspect of us. So while we're in here, and you see how it's not male and female. So while we're here, we're separated. That's what happened in the garden. That's what the Bible said happened in the garden. But it's the splitting of the atom. So the masculine aspect of us, that's what we see here. The masculine aspect of us, the masculinity, that's why we're in this. The realm is feminine. That's why we see they said, oh, Eve gave the man the fruit to eat, and Eve caused Adam to sin. Eve caused Adam to sin because that willpower, that God power was separated from him. That's how she caused him to sin. Oh my God. All these years. So what this book is telling us that there was no separation before. So the Adam and Eve story is it's not the creation beginning of creation. Because before that story, it seems like we were walking around as gods because we were to one together with our higher self or God self or all knowing self. And and as it tells us here that we were more powerful than those who want than the fallen angels. They don't tell us that. We were more powerful than the fallen angels. So they'd be like, listen, let's do some gene splicing, you know, let their true self, let their God self stay on one dimension and send their fleshy self, the self without the God self, into this three-dimension world, and see if they can remember that they're gods. See if they'll listen to the God aspect of them. So that's what happened to us. So the fall of the story in is the story in Genesis is the beginning of this new programming. It's not the beginning of the world. It's the beginning of this new programming. It's how we fell. It's how Eve. Eve represents the feminine energy was separated from the masculine energy. And now when they come together, that's what they call the Adam Kadmon. That's the unity. That's what Songs of Solomon is all about. The marriage that's gonna take place. It's the coming back together. And that's what everyone knows. So that's because of that separation. That's why the end of this program. That's why you all have all these, and it's not men and female, but they're in their masculine. They're in their logic. They're in their ego. They're in their me, 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 me. The God aspect of them is not showing. It's not showing. So when this new programming that's coming, is it the uniting of our God self with our fleshy self? It's the uniting, it's the coming together, it's the marriage. That's the new earth that's coming in. Oh, wow. That's now I can see what's coming in the future. So it's the end of the masculinity. It's the end of the separation. Well, for those who still not if you're still not on the path to and when we say feminine, just represents the divine aspect of you. That's what we're saying when we say feminine. And if there's a video here, I'm gonna post it on my community page where they did a study and show you how women, and not because they're women, because they tap into the feminine energy. A man has to pray as twice or more than a woman to receive anything. So this is all that makes sense because women always in some form exude this feminine energy. Yes, some of us, because of single parents and all that, we have to tap into our masculinity and sometimes to defend ourselves and sometimes on the workplace, but we're naturally feminine, and that's why we tap into the spiritual realm so easily because the true aspect of us is feminine. I know, I know, I know. The true aspect of us is feminine. This realm is feminine. Mother Earth is feminine. But as it tells you, it's because of the fallen angels, the fallen that's here with us. Some people call it terraforming. That they turn this realm upside down. That's why we have so much lack. That's why we have so much sickness. Trees don't even bear fruits. Mm? We're going back. Some of, and there's a Minister Walker always says, we're going back to the garden. We're going back where Adam and Eve were one. Adam and Eve were one. There was no separation. That's what Genesis is telling us. It's just a separation that took place in the garden. Eve was already created. Adam and Eve were one. Because in other dimensions, there you don't have one person that's a male and one person that's a female. You're male and male, well, masculine and feminine energy. All the books I've read, or that Sophia and all of them, they're masculine and feminine. Christ is masculine and feminine energy, and it doesn't have anything to do with sex. So, yeah. So when we say the rise of the feminine, it's the rise of the God energy coming back, with the union of the male and the female. So we're seeing a lot of masculine things, masculine things, divisiveness. That's masculinity. Women as always, and I'm not saying some women doesn't do this, have a sense of community, have a sense of love. Back in the day, women would breastfeed children that's not even theirs. You know, that's how even in the Bible with Jacob's and his many wives, women always the ones that allow the community to run. Men goes out to work and all that and bring it home, and the women feed the family and have the babies and take care of their children, not just their children, everyone's children. That's where we're going back to. Now women has to be working just to survive in this world, and men has to be working because everything is so expensive. They bring in this physical currency, but the new currency is our energy. The new currency is our energy. All right, that's the new currency that's going to be in this new earth. All right, so this took place while the Adam Kadmon was within the midst of many galactic trees of other Father universe. There, the angels and archangels of the fall sought to limit the immeasurable greatness that would share their power in using the creative light stream to move regions of chaos into regions of new creation. So they were jealous. They were jealous. That's why I know it's the Elohims that created us. They were jealous for about the immeasurable. They don't want to share their power. So that what they did, they took out the divine aspect of us so they can rule over us. And so this is the end of that programming where we have to understand who we are. We have to be reunited with that divine aspect of ourselves. Oh, wow. All right. They didn't want to share their power. So this is why we're here in this physical body, and our divine self is we're together in some way. But many of us we're so programmed that we totally ignoring our divine self. And that divine self is who you pray to. That divine self who provide the car, who provide every aspect of you. We totally ignoring it. So this is the goal for everyone to wake up and understand who they are. They desire to keep form in form in the immeasurable distance in regard to their own height above and depth below, and the length and breadth of their domains. Thus they manipulated the embryonic form of intelligence, for they conspired that they would not allow it to attain into levels of divine knowledge. Mm, this is what the fallen has done. So listen, you don't have no fear to fear anybody on this earth. They had to manipulate it, as this put it, the embryonic form So we and them don't share the same power. We share greater power because they're the fallen. They're the fallen, and we have our divine power still. And they didn't want us to be rule over them, but their time is coming up. Is up. Their time is up. In order to accomplish this, the fallen masters opened the biostratus in the heavens and separated the image from the similitude. This allowed the fallen Nephilim angelic forms to confuse the identity patterns of lower creation. Let me see if I can find the biostratus. Yeah, the biostratus. That's the separation. Biological sphere. That's what happened. They mess with our DNA. They mess with our DNA. Biostratus. Biostratus is a spiritual genetic superhelix, which is used to coordinate the double helix. They mess with our DNA. They mess with our DNA. Is a spiritual genetic superhelix which is used to coordinate the double helix grids of creative similitudes with the original divine image grid for biological programming. According to Enoch, the biostratus was lost after the fall, separating image making from the divine similitude and requiring a spiritual physical regenesis through the Scythian seed and the Messianic seed, according to the Archetype DVD. Oh, see, they messed with our DNA to keep us separated. Biostratus and evidence separated the image from the similitude. This allowed the fallen Nephilim's angelic forms to confuse the identity patterns of lower creation. I'm going to finish this tonight. They also poured out an inferior feeling of below consciousness into Adamic physicals so as to seal off their spiritual fate and prevent their evolution from connecting the necessary stages of spiritual evolution needed to be one with the glorious Adam Kadmon. This is what I just said earlier. So these fallen angels, the Nephilims, they also poured out an inferior feeling of below consciousnness that we're inferior to everyone. We are not powerful. Um, we don't have any. These are all codes. These are all part of our programming. So if you're feeling doubtful, if you're feeling that you're not enough, these are, and that's why I think your thoughts is not yours. These are programming to keep us feeling inferior. So they also poured out an inferior feeling of below consciousness into Adamic physicals, into the physical being, so as to seal off their spiritual fate and prevent our evolution. So when we think that we're less than, when we're thinking that we're not enough, that we're not the gods that we are, that's a part of our programming. And prevent the evolution from connecting with the necessary stages of spiritual evolution. Yeah, this is all programming. Then they give us religion and they give us everything to keep us um, from our true identity of who we truly are. Ever needed to one with the glorious Adam Kadmon. And I told you the Adam Kadmon body is when you're reunited with your divine self, when you're reunited with that feminine energy. This bottom below inferior consciousness was meant to promote false states of pseudo divinity. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I can highlight. I don't know. Oh, highlight here. Oh, geez, this is so good. This bottomless, uh, this is not highlighting at all. Let's see. Thickness. I want it thick. Okay, let's see if I can do uh oh shit. What is pseudo divinity? Me, I like this. I'm doing all this. I like this is so good. Okay. This bottom below inferior consciousness was meant to promote false states of pseudo divinity and salvation by working as a message of mental liberation bestowed by a master so that soul evolution would be kept on the master's level. Yeah, so that's why they have all their secret society and all that. So if you're not in those secret society, you're not able to know that who we truly are. False states of pseudo divinity and salvation by working as a message of mental liberation bestowed by a master, so that soul evolution will be kept on the master level. Oh. Mm. Therefore, karmic cycles were set in motion for creation forms of creation that were contaminated and needlessly preconditioned by continual material form. Karmic cycles, that this reincarnation thing, and now I get to see that this reincarnation thing was probably never, it's not natural. Therefore, karmic cycles, because we don't understand who we are, we keep repeating and repeating and repeating, and we can't get it. That's why you look out right now, and people still can't understand who they are. Karmic cycles were set in motion for certain forms of creation that were contaminated and needlessly preconditioned by continual material form. Yeah, continual material form because they can't get out of this physicality. Moreover, this spiritual inferiority prevented the development of spiritual discrimination so that souls could not select the proper portion of physical spiritual unity necessary to define the supreme way. Mhm. Spiritual development of spiritual discrimination so that souls could not select the proper portion of physical spiritual unity necessary to find the supreme way. So there's a scripture in the Bible that says they took away the keys. They printed the Bible and they took away the keys. Therefore, the physical manifestation of the Adam Cadman in the form of Adamic physicals were prevented from realizing their divine overself. They prevented from realizing their divine overself. They did not realize that the physical progression was not completely closed off to the direct remodeling of life from the higher planes of creation. Mm, mm. So the bad thing, it looked like fallen angels created us. Oh my God. Some of the fall, yeah, we think we're completely closed off to the direct remodeling of life from the higher planes of creation. We're not closed off. Some of the fallen master became gods, taking the serpent seal of authority, and therefore limited their creation to their form of galactic models, which could not admit the presence of the divine logos. Yeah, the serpent seal of authority. Let's see if I see that. Yeah, the serpent seal of authority. I know. I didn't expect my life to go back. This is too good. This is too good. I read this and I didn't even know that it went all the way there. I did have that serpent seal of authority. Yeah. Oh no, I don't have BCGE serpent. Okay. That's gonna be something I have to fall. It's not the fallen, the serpent seal of authority, and therefore limited their creation of their to their form of galactic models, which could not admit the presence of divine logos. To prevent the seal of, and therefore limited. That's us, their creation. They created us to their form of galactic models, which could not admit the presence of the divine logos. To their form of galactic models, which could not admit the presence of divine logos. Okay, so their form of galactic models is, oh my gosh, that they couldn't admit the presence of divine logos. That's they make them us in their image because they cut themselves off from the supreme source. So they try to cut us off also, cut us also from the divine source. They make us in their image. Let us think, oh, there's not a divine source. These masters of Satan's were numerous, and until the present time prevented light energy from recycling their lower physical worlds, which would have allowed their worlds to progress into programs designed for the Adam Kadmon. Thus, even the knowledge of the Adam Kadmon was limited to a spectral range of spiritual vision. Yeah, so they're controlling all of the way we evolve. So they also prevented spiritual scientific knowledge given by the treasury of knowledge from being used in the worlds they kept in ignorance. Wow. These fallen masters appropriated for themselves the title El, the Elohim. That's the Elohim created us. At the end of their names, these fallen masters appropriate for themselves the title El at the end of their names and corrupted both the physical radiation of the sons of light entering the physical plane and the daughters of God who represent the true feminine side of the Godhead. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. At the end of their names and corrupted both the physical radiations of the sons of light entering the physical plane. Look what they did. They names and corrupted both the physical radiations of the sons of light entering the physical plane and the daughters of God who represent the daughters of God who represents the true feminine side of the Godhead. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. God is a woman, people. The feminine side of the Godhead. Mm? The true feminine side of the Godhead. Thus, the daughters of God were prevented from manifesting the higher teachings on the earth plane by the corrupt priesthoods. By the corrupt priesthoods. Wow. These fallen masters create a hierarchy which are intended to control all religions on the planet. All religions on the planet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me go back and tell you how they prevented. Thus, the daughters of God were prevented from manifesting the higher teaching on the earth plane by the corrupt priesthoods. These fallen masters created a hierarchy which are intended to control all religions of the planet in their idolatrous image of God. Moreover, these masters, where's my cursor? Moreover, these masters, let me get this off. Okay. Moreover, these masters cause the evolving root races of the planet to cohabit with the fallen Nephilim forms so as to create a race in the image of Enoch, those who do not aspire to anything beyond the material form. Mm, a race of Enoch. Hence, these false masters came to this planet and taught a false science of progressive evolution to the scientific teachers of the planet. In essence, since that time, the vibratory levels upon the planet are subject to retrogressive evolution. Yet, in the quest for a purer planting of the divine light, man can reach true Metatron and the host that light, which is possible to restore a shining Adamic intelligence to this local universe. Oh my God. The false masters came to this planet and taught us false signs of progressive evolution. There's no evolution to the scientific teachers of the planet. In essence, since that time, the vibratory levels upon this planet are subject to retrogressive evolution. We are not evolving. Yet, in the quest for a purer planting of divine light, man can reach through Metatron and the host that light and the host that light which is possible to restore a shining Adamic intelligence to this local universe. Our beliefs, this we're not. People think we're evolving, we're not evolving. Without the thrones of glory and the heads of spiritual civilizations appointed by the true hierarchy of the Father and the Ancients of Days, material form would remain the play object of the Nephilim gods. We're just playing objects for them. Mm. Who tempt intelligence with a similitude so that intelligence serves as a form of the lower light rather than the living light. To maintain their power, the Nephilim gods have fought to withhold the power of the ill illuminaries. Yeah. Oh, they. Oh my gosh, they have the power of the luminaries, which can bestow upon man the necessary ability to use the Sephardic Emmaus in the lower heavens. Let me see what that is. Sephar. They have control over the luminaries. Sephiros. Ah, Sephardic emanations on various levels as of the Ein Sof, responsible for the creation of multitude universe within a program of the Father universe. Oh my God. So the uh, so the Sephardic emanations emanations on various levels of the Ein Sof, responsible for the creation of multiple universe within a program of the Father universe, the further expansion of the divine substance on into the thought form thresholds of emanation, creation, formation, and action. The emanations which create successive worlds from each other, which are inhabited by spiritual beings of various grades, with the exception of the highest thresholds, working with the pluralism of the Godhead. The Sephardic emanations manifest the archetypical Adam Kadmon. The emanations are programmed to eventuate into trinitization of purification and harmony through the Shekinah unfoldment. Well, so these are dimensions um, they prevent us from tapping into. They prevent us from tapping into. They're in control of the luminaries. They're in control of the luminaries. As I write this key, I must speak of the paradise records of vision Metatron showed me, and I saw coded within the crystal tables the vision of the earth giants that indulged with the daughters of the Adamic race until the earth was polluted with beings possessing large physical bodies, yet having small, limited souls. Oh, wow. On on these crystal tablets I saw written that generation after generation will transgress until a newborn seed comes to earth and transgression is destroyed and sin passes away. I saw at the beginning of time, oh, the pre-Ajazolite, the pre-Adamic, the pre Noah, okay. These are different time periods. The pre-Agizolite, the pre-Adamic, the pre-Noachian, and the pre-Jaredite models of life became limited to consciousness form, and heavenly man cried out, "Where is my divine overself?" At the same time, only the Enochians and Sethian seed were permitted to enter the house of light and increase the heavenly treasury of wisdom from the experience of the lower spheres. I saw the powers of many Satans. Wow. So it's not one Satan. The powers controlling our three-dimensional spheres emanating every violent explosion so that parts of chaos formed new planets. Oh my gosh, and trapped womb man back into cycles of materialization and into the images of the root races that fell from all ions. And this is what I see going on now. It's like every time we try to evolve, they put we keep going around in circles. Mm? Because the what we're doing here is creating new worlds. We're creating new worlds, and you see how they spell woman's spheres emanating very violent explosions. So the parts of chaos formed new planets and trapped the womb man, the womb man And women, we have to rise. Women, we have to rise back into cycles of materialization, because we have to rise. The earth need us, and into the get out of this materialistic society. We are the ones that's probably going to have to do the change, because I see our men going back into division and into the images of the root races that fell from all ions. I heard the Father call and say, Adam, Adam. And the body answered from the lower heavens and said, Here I am, here am I, Father. And the Father said to him, Thy seed of light, will be numbered. And Uriel and the office of redemptive light, and in the aeons of consciousness, the race, the light race, will complete my work in these heavens and will be numbered with the high command of Uriel and Michael. So didn't somebody go to the land of is Uriel. For in the struggle to abolish the fallen programs of creation, it is necessary for the order of Michael and the order to Uriel to descend from the higher heavens and rescue progeny of Adam, and is limited to the three veils of flesh. Henceforth, the consciousness of the spiritual creation will no longer sleep under the shaded appearance of the false light. So Uriel under the order of Michael to descend from the higher heavens and rescue the progeny of Adam. We are Adam, the masculine aspect, the physical aspect. I saw how Metatron commissioned the great wisdom of light, and how the higher lords of light no longer isolated the earth, so it would no longer be under the fallen command of the rebellious lords of light. I saw how a special pre-galactic seed of El-race gods, being of the light, walked upon the earth and began to upgrade the dust world creations. I saw how the elect seed of Enoch and Seth built cities in the heavens and were modeled upon the earth. They were to prepare the physical seed to cross this threshold of creation when man had learned to cooperate and live as a family of God. And I saw the glorious biostratus restored to the heavens, and the Antichrist and the Anti-Seth powers overthrown. I saw in the universe to come radiations of love with the return of Christ and his splendor of the eye beholding the heavens open, and Metatron, Michael, and Uriel descend with Moses, and Elijah in outer raiments of light, and the sanctification of the faithful seed who share in God's plan were transformed by one master stroke, which shook the earth, raising the dead into the Laoish with thunderbursts. Through the Omega used in the making of other worlds, I saw the Christ as the anointed Lamb, and Christ's consciousness of Yahweh opened the graves of the faithful who rose from the earths of radiance. Whole families filled the faces of the local universe with their seed bearing witness to the restored divine emanations which took back the central template of the image and similitude begotten and planted the gardens of life. After plunging into the depths of the bottom below consciousness, the souls who, after years of suffering on the earth, extended their hands over their bodies of dust and raised up a body of glory destined for perpetual brightness. And we talk about death, it's not physical death, and God bearing light from which all things come and to which all things are destined to return in perfection. Finally, I saw children with golden staffs from all parts of the world leading the faithful into the heavens. Those who receive the charismatic visions of the Holy Spirit were the first to proclaim the Merkabah of God. Dust was quickened into divine light, and the elect of the Spirit took their seats with the councils. The Spirit is a part of you as you are a part of it. Come, divine Spirit of God, enter the ions of divine worlds without end. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I'm thankful for this word today. We are light beings. We are connected to the divine universe. We fell in consciousness and it was deliberate. It was deliberate. I think the Adamic story is the beginning of this program where they took our divine self and separated us. And now is the time for us to reunite it with the feminine aspect of us. That's what we've been feeling, and I'm calling on the woman. I'm calling on the woman to rise. Don't be so materialistic. Don't come. Don't be all in this world just worrying about the buck, just worrying about who loves you and who don't love you. You're here for a divine purpose. We are the gods. We are part of the Godhead that's been left out, and it's time. And they make it was deliberate. You read this book, everything was deliberate. And we came here, we probably knew it would be like this, but we thought we could do it but our higher self is here. And the goal, let us start tapping into our higher selves. Let us start tapping into our higher self. That's the goal. Ask your higher self. That's who we are. That we were separated, as the Bible says, a garden. We were separated from who were. Eve is just a higher self, the feminine aspect, the God aspect of ourselves. And yeah, you want to come on my channel and talk about God is not a man. Prove to me God is not a man. Prove to me God is not a man. Yeah, Eve is the Godhead. Eve, the feminine aspect. And in different realms, it is not man and woman as we see here as in this earth. All those people we pray to, their masculine and feminine energy. All right, that's the God Ed. That's the God Ed. All right, that's the Godhead. All right, so thank you all. Thank you for all those who joined us. Thank you. Um, for those who probably find this at a later time, I am thankful. Um, I'm thankful for whoever watching. I didn't know I was gonna go this late, but it was so good. It was so good. Oh, Father, Mother God, I thank you. I thank you for the energy coming into the earth. I thank you for the love. I thank you for this platform. In my physical eyes, yes, I wish others could see, but it's here for them when they're ready. And I pray that whoever you're speaking to, whoever is ready, I pray that it will be here for them. I am so thankful. I'm thankful. I'm grateful whatever you're doing with my life, within my life and other on this earth in general. I thank you for my sister that normally joins me, and she's not feeling well today. Oh, Father, I just pray that that divine spirit just will just work in every area of her body so she can be filled up with the power, that divine power that lives within her. Oh, bless our homes, our families, our communities as we sleep tonight. I pray for divine clearance for access. Speak directly with the divine aspect of ourselves, and that we may be obedient. And I'm thanking you for those that are here today, just the divine beings that was sent here to guide us and help us in our time here on earth. I also pray for those that you're calling, that their higher selves is talking and speaking to, and they're totally ignoring because of the programming of this earth, that we're so caught up in things that we have to do, and we're looking outside of self for help and the power, especially the woman, the womb man that you've called them, that the power that's in them, and where an effort was made to keep us in this materialistic world and not in our spirituality. So we pray for the rise of the woman, rise of the woman in this world, and beyond. Oh, Father, we thank Father, Mother God, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you. When we give you honor, we give you praise. Amen. Okay, thank you all. Thank you. My phone thing right now. My phone's dying. Thank you all.